Paymon who?
Mottahedeh.
Paymon Mottahedeh. Who is he?
Never paid taxes in 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government.
Hello to my truth and freedom seeking friends. I am Paymon Mottahedeh, the president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996. And for over 30 years, I have not filed or paid any income or payroll taxes, and been teaching Americans like you to do the same thing legally and safely. Our website is freedomlawschool.org. In this presentation, I will share with you about Bitcoin. Do you have to pay any capital gains taxes on your Bitcoin gains or not, according to the law? And the good news is, well, wait, you're going to love this. You're free. You can be free of any capital gains tax on your Bitcoin or crypto gains if you follow the law correctly. So, first let's talk about Bitcoin a little bit here. Okay, it's been in the news that Bitcoin blasts toward $100,000, and it is just getting started. This came in Forbes November 24th, 2024. One of the reasons is because Donald Trump is a pro-freedom, pro-crypto president. So is RFK Jr., okay, one of his right-hand people. And a lot of money is going in these mutual funds of Bitcoin. They call them ETFs, exchange-traded funds, that own only Bitcoin on behalf of the owners of this exchange-traded funds, which are essentially mutual funds of Bitcoin. So a bunch of people put money in there. They tell the broker, whether it's Fidelity, Charles Schwab, or BlackRock, hey, get a bunch of Bitcoin for me, okay? So this is going to continue. And look at the gains that crypto has had, Bitcoin, over the last just 2 years. 2 years ago, it was about $17,000 per Bitcoin. Look, it's gone up to how much? Okay, went up to about $40,000 range about a year ago, and now it is close to $100,000. We'll pass it soon. And Bitcoin was created for many reasons. One was to provide a unit of money that is honest, not created by banks out of thin air, by this fraud of creating currency or loans out of thin air with fractional reserve banking, and the government do the same thing by printing money, okay? That corrupt system, this was meant to be an alternative to that, okay? Second thing was, it was going to be an honest system of money that, again, it holds its value because it will not be corrupted by some banks and governments and central banks. Okay. Another great benefit of crypto is that it's completely private. Yes. Blockchain technology, it's only a bunch of numbers. Bitcoin is blockchain technology. So no one knows that Bitcoin, who it belongs to. It just shows a bunch of numbers and characters that is in that wallet or account of Bitcoin. So why should we have to pay on this great tool of freedom, income taxes, and it destroys the whole purpose of this thing. It weakens it, okay? If we have it be completely free legally, it's going to be even better, and it's going to go up more, and you're going to be even more prosperous, as you shall see. So let's look at the IRS's 1040 U.S. individual income tax return form for 2023, where the IRS expects people like you who had gains on your crypto to pay income tax. Now look at this. Again, A lot of people have made a lot of money in crypto over the last 2 years. And can you legally pay no income tax on all this Bitcoin you've had from under 20,000 to over 100,000 in 2 years? Yes, I'll show you in just a moment, okay? Let's go back and look at this on the 1040 form. This is very important you understand this key point. On the first page, below your name and address area, there is a digital assets question. This is a trap for anybody who has a cryptocurrency of any kind. I'm going to zoom in for you right here, this trick form they got, okay? It asks you at any time during this tax year, did you receive or sell, exchange, or otherwise dispose of a digital asset? Yes or no? If you say yes, congratulations. You just added yourself to IRS's audit list. You, on your own, chose to fill out that 1040 tax form and put yes to that box and identify yourself as a cryptocurrency owner for the IRS to come and potentially harass. Right now, I'm helping people with tax problems. Almost all of them are cryptocurrency people who, because they had to tell the truth, they thought on the form and saying yes. They didn't have to do that. Oh, well, what if they say no? Oh my gosh, that is even worse. If you say no, you just commit the crime, you can go to prison for about 9 years. Yes, for 9 years, for simply lying on that form. How to get out of this dilemma? Well, we're going to cover that. But first, let me show you that it is important for you to know that when you sign an IRS Form 1040 income tax confession form, you state under oath that you owe the IRS money. This is it, folks. The 1040 form. It says sign here. And you sign right here. Oh, what does that lines mean? Oh, my accountant, my CPA never told me what this little small fine print means. What does it matter? Oh, I made it big for you. It's very important. It says under penalties of perjury. You say, so what is that? What is perjury? I don't understand this thing. What's the big deal? It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. You have to sign a form anyways, right? Wrong. It's a huge deal. You literally put the rope around your neck and hand it to the IRS. Okay? Take a look at this, okay? Basically, this means throw me in prison if everything on this form is not true, correct, and complete. Yes. You trust your accountant, your CPA, your tax attorney to fill out this form for you, but they don't go to prison. If there's a mistake of any kind, you go to prison for having signed a form that they filled out wrong, okay? And crypto's so complex, hard to figure it out, okay? So, and the amount that you owe on line 37, you say it. On line 37, the amount that you claim you owe the IRS under oath. This is the amount you owe. There it is. You fill out you put the numbers on there and you sign under oath, penalty, perjury. That's how you owe the IRS. And also, you say this crypto question, yes or no, it's all under oath. You swear to it. And you can go to prison, like I said, for 9 years. 3 different separate federal crimes. Attempting to evade or defeat a tax. Tax evasion, 5 years. Filing fraudulent or false statements, 3 years of prison time. Filing fraudulent returns, statements, or the document, 1 year. You can be charged for all 3 at the same time for the same mistake on the 1040 form. And like I said, risk going to prison for 9 years for each 1040 that you file with the IRS. Oh, I'm sorry your CPA accountant who claims to know the law was ignorant and deliberately didn't tell you that, because if you knew that is what you do when you sign a 1040 form, I bet you would never sign that form. Just like if your doctor told you the risks of the corona jab, you probably would have never taken that jab in the first place, right? Same thing is going on here. So look at this, folks. You have a Fifth Amendment right to be silent and not give any information to the government that they can use against you. This is the U.S. Supreme Court has said this principle again and again and again. You can read all what's on the screen, folks. Pause it, read it for yourself. And even a former tax court judge could not defend the 1040 forms that she signed under oath. And to avoid going to prison for about 20 years, she pled guilty and got 34 months of prison. That's supposed to be a good deal, because she did not know what you're learning right now. Here's Joe Bannister, one of my students, who I met in 1997 and quit the IRS in 1999. He was a gun-carrying criminal investigation division agent. His job was to put people in prison for taxes. Yeah, one of those guys everybody afraid of. He was one of them. He became one of my students and realized, wow, Freedom Law School is right. I'm going to confront the IRS, expose them, and he did. He quit them, okay? And has been exposing IRS income tax fraud for over a quarter of a century. So here's what he says. He says, whenever at the CID, the Criminal Investigation Division of the IRS, we want to go after somebody, one of the first things that we did as a standard procedure was to request a copy of that person's previously filed tax returns so that we could use the information on those tax returns against them. Yes, they use those 1040 forms you signed against you. However, when I wanted to talk to somebody about investigating him, I had to tell him that he had the right to remain silent and give me no information. How about that? Then, if you have the right not to give any information to the IRS that they potentially can use against you, why give it to them on the 1040 form? Oh, I know, because your accountant, CPA, tax attorney, TurboTax told you that's a safe thing to do. You don't want to get in trouble with the IRS, right? Do that. Pay me, and I'll keep you safe from the IRS. You must sign that form under oath with the IRS, otherwise you'll be in trouble. Be safe and file that 1040 form, sign on that thing. That's what's been happening with you. Now you can stop that, okay? So, look at this chart, okay? These statistics are from IRS's own data book. Shows that over 93% of the people that the IRS puts in prison are actually filers, like cryptocurrency people, okay? At the bottom part of this chart is people who don't file. At the top of this half is people that file, okay? So if you take the difference between everybody, okay, and then the non-filers at the bottom, most everybody is filers that put in prison. Look at that on the left. For 2021, okay, on the left, everybody that put in prison was about 1,200 people, but look at the bottom. The non-filers were only 88. So about, under 1,200 were all filers. Almost 1,200 were filers of the 1,268 that they put in prison. So this shows you when you sign that form, you give the IRS the key to come after you and put you in prison, my friends, okay? Now, let's continue with the law a little bit, okay? Let's follow the law. I want you to follow the law. I implore you to follow the law. And the best place to do that, to be free of the IRS, is on U.S. government's official legal websites. You're going to see that now. Not some ignorant accountant, CPA, attorney, TurboTax, H&R Block. They know nothing. Even your attorneys don't know this stuff. Your tax attorneys. So here it is. We're going to go to the website of the United States. There's a Office of the Law Revision Council of the United States House of Representatives. They officially published the United States Code, which is a consolidation and codification by subject matter of the general and permanent laws of the United States federal government. Here it is. This is the titles or categories of the federal laws. Title 1, Title 2, 3, 4, 5, and down it goes, okay? Title 26, you see, is the Internal Revenue Code, the federal tax laws. Okay, here it is. You know, it's divided up in several different subtitles, as you see here. Okay, let's go look up a section here. Okay, Section 1, tax imposed, tax on individuals. Okay, here it is. Internal Revenue Code, Title 26. Okay, Section 1. And here it talks about a tax being imposed on mere individuals and other people, okay? The law is a little bit kind of vague here. The regulations of the U.S. Treasury nicely summarize it for you, okay? U.S. Treasury Regulation 1.1-1. What does it say? Section 1 of the code imposes an income tax on the income of every individual who is a citizen or resident of the United States. That's right, United States, okay? And to the extent provided by Section 871B or 877B on the income of a non-resident alien individual, okay? We're not going to focus on that too much, but we're going to focus more on who is a citizen or resident of the United States. That's the main one. And what does the United States mean? We'll get to that, okay? That's the key thing. So the definitions are very important. Look, let me tell you guys, I'm a person who's 100% for life-saving, gender-affirming care in the original correct version. I'm a man, that's a woman, I care for you, okay, and you care for me. Not this chemical and physical mutilation and castration that they call life-saving, gender-affirming care. Definitions are very important, okay? And that's how they get you. Satan deceives. Through deception, you are enslaved. Now, with the truth, you will be free. The truth, of course, has been hidden all along in the Internal Revenue Code. This is the Bible of the IRS. It's really slavery, Internal Revenue Service. And the definitions are not in the front of the book. They're hidden toward the back. Almost at the end, section 7,701. Why? So by the time you get to the first few pages, you give up. You think, it applies to me. I'm just going to do as the IRS tells me. But you don't have to do that. Look at this amazing information, okay? So section 7701 definitions, okay? In chapter 79, definitions, has a lot of definition on many, many things, okay? And it tells us, when used in this title, what title? Title 26. Here it is again, folks. The Internal Revenue Code, the Bible IRS, is over 10,000 pages of tissue-thin, gobbledygook confusion they're deliberately put in front of you to be able to deceive and enslave you easily, okay? So, they define things like person that do not even need defining. Partner, partnership, corporation. Let's go down to United States and state. Yes, there is a definition for these key terms. Let's go to state first, okay? State shall be construed to include the District of Columbia, which is not even a state. Why did I mention D.C. and none of the 50 states? That's kind of crazy, because District of Columbia is not a state. It has no representatives in the U.S. Senate. But they did that because they can. They can define things any way they want to, okay? And how about the term United States? United States, when used in a geographical sense, that is what we want to know, includes only the states and the District of Columbia. Oh, but states we know means the District of Columbia. So DC plus DC adds up to still DC. Wow. The United States is only the District of Columbia. Those are the people that gotta pay income tax. DC citizens, DC individuals. It's a Washington, DC individual income tax, not the 50 states individual income tax. Now you're thinking, oh, come on, Payman. Everybody knows that the 50 states are clearly implied. It's there. They don't have to list them in there specifically, and I'll show you why that is not correct. Look at the Supreme Court. Here's what they tell us. This is Stenberg versus Carhart. U.S. Supreme Court, year 2000, decided. And here's what it says in the relevant part. When a statute or law includes that explicit definition, like what you just saw, we must follow that definition even if it varies from that term's ordinary meaning. And it is axiomatic, which means self-evident, obvious, that the statutory or legal definition of the term excludes unstated meanings of that term. So when you don't see a term 50 states in here, it's not there. Okay? It excludes it. And to go one further to prove this point, let's go to Gould versus Gould, a unanimous Supreme Court tax case of 1917. And in this case, the court says, in the interpretation or understanding of statutes, laws levying taxes, in understanding laws that impose taxes, it is the established rule, well-known rule, not to extend the provisions of tax laws by implication or implying beyond the clear import of the language used, like what you see here. Do you see 50 states in there? Do you see New York in there? Do you see California in there? Do you see Iowa in there? Do you see any of the 50 states in there? No. You cannot assume Supreme Court says 9-0 unanimous tax case. You cannot assume it's there, and it's not there. And the court continues. Or you cannot enlarge the operation of tax laws so as to embrace or include matters not specifically pointed out. The 50 states are not listed here in the definition of the term United States or state. So you could not read into that because this is not specifically listed. California, Texas, Florida, none of them are specifically listed. Therefore, they are not a part of the state and United States definition. Okay? And if you still have doubt, the court tells us, in case of doubt, the tax laws, are construed or interpreted most strongly against the government and in favor of the citizen not being taxed. Not just against the government. Oh, no. Not just strongly against the government. No. But most strongly against the government. You cannot get any more stronger than most strongly against the government, can you? So, it's shun done, clear. There is, the United States, the tax code does not apply to anything except when otherwise provided, except to Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. And to give you another example why they can and do include the 50 states, I'll bring you this code section 4612, definitions and special rules, okay? It's subchapter A, tax on petroleum. So the law reads very simply, for the purposes of this subchapter, again, subchapter A, tax on petroleum, okay? And they define many things, okay, like United States. The term United States means, well, look at that. The 50 states. There it is. You see it. The 50 states is there. They specifically included it because they can. And on top of that, they had D.C. and a bunch of U.S. territories are specifically listed in the possession of the United States, right? And continental shelf areas also, and foreign trade zones all specifically pointed out. Because it does. For oil taxes, it applies to all of the 50 states and any and all U.S. territorial land of any kind of the 50 states and U.S. territories. So, now that we made that paid that clear, okay, let's go to, so that's the main thing. Again, income tax on individuals, now we can see clearly that Section 1 of the Code imposes income tax on income of every individual who's a citizen or resident of the District of Columbia. That's right. The United States is a District of Columbia, not the 50 states. Okay, so that's the most key thing you gotta understand. Now, there's a couple of if you want to stop right here, you can, because I gave you the key part of this right here. That's the most important thing you gotta know. Okay, whether it's crypto gains, stock gains, bonds, commodities, rental income, real estate, wages, salaries, commissions, business income of any kind, doesn't matter. As long as you are not a citizen or resident of the District of Columbia, it does not apply to you. D.C. is as foreign to you in Florida, Texas, or New York as France, Russia, or Egypt are. It's a different country. Because America is not a country. It's 50 countries in a union with one Asian government called the United States, which performs few delegated powers that the states gave to it with the Constitution to perform things like common defense, common foreign relations, common money, and so forth. Okay? Now I'm going to get a little bit more minutia. Hang in there with me. You see, they're mentioned also to the extent provided by Section 871B or 877B on income of non-resident alien individual. Okay, it's going to get a little bit complex here, but hang in there. I'm going to cover that for you in just a moment, okay? Remember the Title 26 United States? Well, guess what? They defined a term called trade or business. Here we go down, way down to 26. Here it is. The term trade or business includes the performance of the functions of a public office. What? How crazy is that? Trade or business is someone doing government work? Well, there it is. I didn't say that. The law says that. It does not include any businessman or tradesman of any kind. It includes actually government workers. Bob, it's only federal government workers. So with that understanding now, we're going to go read the law a little bit more. Here's 871 now that we talked about earlier, okay? And we're going to go down to 871, tax imposed on non-resident alien individuals, okay? So non-resident means someone basically non-resident of Washington, D.C., and alien to Washington, D.C. So who's that? Someone who's not from Washington, D.C. Someone who's not a citizen or resident of Washington, D.C. Someone from France, Russia, China, Egypt, California, Texas, Florida, any of the 50 states. We're all just the same non-resident aliens to the Washington, D.C. government. Yeah, that's what it is, okay? In fact, in the law, the non-resident alien has also its own definition that basically says that later on, United States person, by the way, means a citizen resident of District of Columbia. Wow. That's what a United States person is. A domestic to D.C. partnership and cooperation and more, okay? And so here we go down a little bit further. We're going to look at the term, the non-resident alien, okay? We're going to get that. Folks, look at this. All these definitions are one after another, okay, to confuse you. Here we go, okay? Definition of resident alien and non-resident alien. The United States means DC, okay? So for the purpose of this title, Title 26, the Internal Revenue Code, here, remind you, for the purpose of this whole federal tax laws, okay? For this book, the definition is pretty simple. Here it is. Non-resident alien. An individual is a non-resident alien if such individual is neither a citizen or resident of the District of Columbia nor a resident of the District of Columbia. That's right, because within the meaning of paragraph A, that means D.C. That's D.C. they're talking about, folks. Washington, D.C. So now with that understanding, when you come back here, okay, in section 871, we go down to B and read it, income tax connected with Washington, D.C. business graduated rate of tax. So I'm going to read this thing now the way it translates. Not the way it's written in this code, because you have to translate it instantly in your head to what it really means. Not when they tell you. So when you see gender affirming care, you should read, it's not care, it's not gender affirming. It means chemical or physical mutilation and castration, right? Same thing applies here. So I'm going to read it for you what it really says. Okay? Someone not from Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, individual, engage in performing functions of federal public office, like federal work, within the District of Columbia during the taxable year, shall be taxable as provided in Section 155 on his taxable income, which is effectively connected with the conduct of performance function of federal public office within the District of Columbia. Federal workers that work in D.C. If you're an FBI agent, work in D.C., you have to pay income tax. If you're an FBI agent in the FBI's Dallas or Los Angeles office, you don't pay income tax because you're not performing that job within Washington, D.C., within District of Columbia. Okay? Now, let's continue on to Section 877, expatriation to avoid the tax. Okay? So here we go. Here, this one is, okay, expatriation to avoid the tax. Okay? So, basically every, anybody who talks about lost their United States citizenship, but that United States citizenship is District of Columbia citizenship, not the 50 states citizenship. So anybody that loses their DC citizenship, they're talking about that. Right now, the billionaire, Roger Ver, okay, one of the richest billionaires in the crypto world, he's been prosecuted because he gave up his citizenship, okay, to avoid the all the crypto gains had. And guess what? His lawyers misguided him. They lied to him. They deceived him. They told him to do all this stuff that he never needed to do at all. Okay? Roger Ver did not need to give up his citizenship at all. He was always a United States citizen like you and me in the 50 states for immigration and nationality purposes. Okay? He never needed to give that up at all. But the bad lawyers give the billionaire Roger Ver and you bad advice, and Roger Ver right now has been indicted. Okay? So don't rely on those incompetent CPA and lawyers who grease your way to an indictment like they did to Roger Ver, folks. Okay? So let's get back to this thing a little bit, okay? So 877, let's go down to relevance section. It says what? Alternative tax and non-resident alien individuals, someone not from D.C., describing subsection A. Okay, well, wait a minute. This non-resident alien individual, okay, it shall be taxable for an amount as provided in section 1 or 55, which we covered already. Section 1 is for citizens or residents of the District of Columbia. Not you, not me, not Roger Ver. Got it? Get this to Roger. Have him watch this video if you're a crypto Bitcoin guy, right? Because he needs to be educated how his lawyers screwed him under, okay? And I don't want you to be screwed under by his incompetent lawyers and CPAs who know nothing about the tax laws they pretend to know, okay? So again, to summarize for you, look at this form. 1040 U.S. individual income tax is a Washington, D.C. District of Columbia individual income tax return. Not for you. You owe zero on your crypto gains to the IRS. The only way to avoid the digital asset question they have here, IRS, this trap that the Irish want you to answer yes or no, is what? Is to not answer the question at all to begin with. Don't fill out the form at all to begin with, okay? And even the IRS's Form 10 for instruction form on page 8 about filing requirements tells you these rules apply to all U.S. citizens who are District of Columbia citizens, regardless of where they live, and resident aliens. You, not them. You of one of the 50 countries, states of the Union. Okay? Remember again, the corona lockdowns were done state by state, country by country. Florida had little ones, and New York, California, Hawaii had draconian lockdowns because the federal government has no business in imposing anything about our health care to us whatsoever. The president gives every year a State of the Union address, not the State of the Country address. America is not one country. It's 50 countries plus one agent government, the United States government in Washington, D.C. So it's all there. So people, it's a famous saying, people suffer for lack of knowledge. There's also another famous saying, that you seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So, but the key word is seek. You, that's right, you must take the time to seek the truth. That's available to you at Freedom Law School's website, freedomlawschool.org. The 7 steps to be free of the IRS deception, okay, robbery, slavery, it starts right here. I just gave you an introduction to it, folks. Go through these 7 steps. Listen to these short videos as you drive to and from work. I know you're too busy to sit down and watch it. I know you, just like me, you're too busy. So while you're driving, get your smartphone up, set it up, okay? Hook it up to your car's audio system as you watch yours safely. Listen and learn. When you get to office for lunch or back home for dinner, now you play the same video, watch, just like I showed you, that everything I'm telling you is from U.S. government's official legal websites and reports. Verified for yourself, and you will be free. Yes. So go through the 7 steps every day. You'll be done with it, folks. Depending on how serious you are, within a few days or a few weeks at the most. But listen to it in your car. Step 2, you see why you put the rope around your neck when you file that 1040 form. You need to stop doing that. Pay 0 on your crypto gains legally and safely. Step 3, you realize IRS is really a big Wizard of Oz that the corrupt major media painted for your enslavement. And in addition to the corrupt media, your charismatic preachers and your CPA accountants, they brainwashed you to be a slave. They mess with your mind to make you a slave. Okay? So you got to realize the IRS operates on deception and bluff. You can also take courage from our victories. Yeah, that's right. IRS is a myth. The reality, IRS, is that lizard you see in my hand with no firepower, because no student of Freedom Law School has ever gone to prison for federal taxes, nor had their paycheck or bank account levied or home or business seized by the IRS. As long as they came to Freedom Law School clean like you. Stop filing and paying income tax with Freedom Law School and stayed with us for over 20 years of done this. They've all been safe. You got to check it out for yourself. And then you question authority. You don't have to pay tribute to the beast. It's really Satan. It's really slavery, IRS. No, sir. Write your Congress members. File income tax only if your congressman can show you the law that requires you to file and pay income taxes. And this way, safely you can free yourself from IRS deception, robbery, and slavery. And his petitions are free. Yes, free at freedomlawschool.org. Okay? This is all free. Every one of you should do this. If you're poor, do it on your own. If you're a poor young person, poor old person on Social Security or whatever, do this for free. IRS will leave you alone. Okay? Period. Because there's about 80 million non-filers, according to IRS's best numbers, that are available. Okay? Now, but if you want to be part of restoring freedom in America, if you want to feel good that you're doing something great and wonderful, okay, for yourself, your children, and your own grandchildren, and at the same time, you want to guarantee that you'll be free of the IRS no matter what, then, and only then, step 6 is for you. You can join the Restore Freedom Plan and do it like these founding fathers did. They joined hands together, one for all for one, and they gave us this free republic that we still have many of our freedoms. And that's how the corrupt deep state, as powerful they were, American people woke up and re-elected Donald Trump to become president of the United States. Because the system in America is so strong, fundamentally. It's up to us to wake up, take back our country. How many of you knew 10 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was fighting this battle for freedom, that the U.S. government has become such a corrupt, criminal government? I bet you, vast majority of you did not know, or did not know it was this bad. Yes, you've seen how bad it is, okay? So we got to join hands together like the founding fathers, and Donald Trump from the top tries to empty the swamp, and every one of us, you, from the bottom. Stop giving your money to this swamp. Okay, IRS funds the CIA, FBI, DOJ, CDC, FDA, all the crooked bureaucrats at the top, leaders, they're all funded by your voluntary contributions on your business income, wages, salaries, Bitcoin, and crypto gains. Okay, you can stop that. Now, if you join the Restore Freedom Plan, okay, you be a modern-day founding fathers of America, and the privilege of 100% guarantee is available. And you can have this guarantee when you legally stop filing and paying income taxes, as long as you are a member of the Restore Freedom Plan. Freedom Law School will prevent the IRS from levying your money, or Freedom Law School will reimburse you in full, and you will not go to prison. Okay? The last step, step 7, is for every one of you, brothers and sisters. Love and spread the truth. Yes, you be a modern day Paul Revere and go everywhere, online, physically, to your family members, friends, co-workers, people on the email list, social media. Text your friends. Tell them the truth, or remember the law. To join the Restore Freedom Plan, have America and our families be free and prosperous once again. And we're happy to even pay you Yes, to fund this movement, we'll have to pay you if you spread the word to other people. Call us, and we'll send you at no charge. These Restore Freedom brochures. Yes, free. We'll mail them to you, okay? To get people interested, open-minded. Look at this stuff, okay? You could give it on print, hand them out to people, okay? Our website, freedomlawschool.org, or just hand somebody in person this. And we pay you. Just remember, put your name and phone number or the private 7-digit number we'll give you so we can pay you and thank you for taking part in restoring freedom in America. So in short, your Bitcoin gains are tax-free from now on. If you take the time to watch this video 2 or 3 times, go through the 7 steps I showed you, okay? And stop filing those 1040 income tax confession drop forms with the IRS, no matter what your CPA, accountant, or lawyer tells you. My friends, I would love to live in a world of live and let live, and love and let love. Let's all live in joy, peace, harmony, and prosperity. However, I cannot make you free. You have to choose to be free. You gotta love yourself enough to make the time as you drive to and from work, or exercise, or whatever activity you do to wash your dishes while you wash your dishes, to listen to the videos that will empower you to be free. So if you do that, then we'll eventually get together as our numbers grow and grow and grow, and have all of us be a free country once again. So I give you my love, and remember, go to freedomlawschool.org. I'll be back with you next Tuesday evening.